Okay. This is our Magnatrac Junior, model number MD567. So I've been looking for a small crawler, dozer, loader situation like this for a long, long time. 15 years probably. There's always been some sort of reason why I have not jumped on or acted on all of these other crawlers that I've looked at. And it needs to be a crawler because it's, you got to go, we have a lot of hilly situations. We've got a little piece of property with hopefully a motocross track by using this to make some obstacles. So everything is hilly. Our yard needs to be graded. There's a sinkhole in it. There's many areas in the yard that need to be flattened out and leveled out because my wife is having troubles mowing in the yard, and it's a hill. So we need tracks. We need tracks to accomplish this, or else nothing's going to get any traction. So, like I said, I've been looking for a long time, and there's every reason in the book why I have not acted on any of these little crawlers. And there's many manufacturers that have made these all the way from probably the 30s, maybe 40s on up. And all of these crawlers, they're either too heavy, too large, too expensive, or too complicated. I mean, a lot of this older stuff, if you have transmission problems or drivetrain problems, track problems, you gotta have this stuff made, and it's expensive. And I'm not made of money. So the Magnatrac Junior they're still making stuff to this day. So this model, I believe, was made from the later 90s into the early 2000s. So we went out and looked at this thing. The starter wiring was not hooked up, so I had to use a screwdriver to get it started. It wasn't running very good, but it wasn't smoking. The hydraulics worked. The forward and back was just barely working. But long story short, offered him $2,000. He took the offer. We just barely got it loaded up onto our little utility trailer. It weighs probably 1,500 maybe to 2,000 pounds. Not very much. Brought it home. I added the hydraulic cylinder because it had a port on an empty port on the diversion. I don't know anything about hydraulics necessarily. So we added that, so it has a dump action with the bucket. So it came with a bucket as well. I went through the whole thing, cleaned the carburetor out. The engine is like new. After I cleaned the carburetor and cleaned the engine up, it ran great. And added this little panel. I rewired it so the ignition switch works. We've got choke, throttle up, headlights. I put a new seat on it, battery tray, I made that, and a little hold down. The weight box, I had to put a cover on it, so we just filled that full of rock and chain. I made this little panel, sheet metal panel, because I had to put, it had some sort of hokey cast iron muffler situation on it, so I picked up a stock one. So yeah, I mean, the engine is like brand new. But the beauty of this machine is that it has no transmission. It's driven by belts. You just push forward on the belts, it puts tension on the forward drive belts. You pull it backwards, and it puts tension on the rearward drive belts. It's the same as a lawn tractor. You engage it and disengage it, and you just have a belt running back to your main drive shaft, I guess, with the pulleys. And so I replaced bearings, belts, cleaned the carburetor out, did some repainting, and made the panels. And the bad part about it is the fact that this engine is just like, I think it's a Predator 420, which is a Harbor Freight engine. I think it has 13 or 14 horsepower. But the exhaust is pointing back towards you. So when I made my little panel, I put a exhaust diverter and heat shield in there. So it kind of directs it downward, the exhaust fumes, etc., and the heat. Yeah. So you can still buy bearings. You can buy tracks. A lot of the wear parts you can still buy from Magnatrac. So there is no making of parts or heavy expenses. I mean, this is literally less complicated than your average lawn tractor because all of your stuff is right here. You take the clamshell off to get the belts off. You've got two clamshells. You've got a bottom shaft. You've got an upper shaft. And then you've got these tensioners. So you unbolt it. You slide the wheels backward or forward. You've got a tensioner down on the bottom down there. It's super simple. So, yeah. So I welded the nuts on the backside of that other one, on the backside of the body here, so I can just bolt the panel down. So, like I said, I rewired it. So there we go. We got the Magnatrac Junior. I'm hoping that it's got enough weight to it and can push some dirt around. If not, I've got $2,500 into it, and it should do some work. I just need something in between a shovel and a wheelbarrow and a Kubota for $15,000, and hopefully this does a trick. All right, so there is the new project. It's practically completed. I just need to do some small details to it. All right, thanks for watching.